This team helped me climb over 240 elo in just 6 sets. Crazy climbs in the Spring Cup, and it's with Shadow, Galarian, Weezing with Fairy Wind, Sludge, Overheat, Lapras with Psywave, Sparkling Red, Ice Beam though. I think you could use Skull Bash if there's one move that you want to substitute and not use the Elite Team. I get it. And then Dugong is my safe swap with Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and Juron. Dugong's super underrated right now in this meta. It's actually really, really good. It gets won by Golisopod, but that's about it. Everything else you're going to be hitting at least for neutral, if not for super effective. Let's go ahead and get into some of these battles. I have a lot of them, and I really prioritize the bad leads so you can see how I play out of bad situations with this team. Let's get it going. All right. In the first battle, we have Galarian Weezing up against a Marshtomp. So this is, of course, bad, right? They're a ground type. We can't even hit them for neutral with Galarian Weezing outside of the Fairy Wind, so I will be swapping out into my Dugong. We lure out a Tentacruel. So this is pretty good because we do have Juron that is going to be hitting for super effective. It does not one-shot, but after Juron, you can start going Icy Wind if they let that first one go through. They're going to be firing off the acid spray right here. I'm going to be making sure that I'm still throwing at good timing. So don't throw immediately. Throw 3 ice shards and then you will be able to throw at good timing. And we do connect with that Juron. Now, they did not build up to a Sludge Wave. They could be running Scald, and they actually are. That's fine. We have a shield advantage at least now. It's some sort of advantage. I'm going to be coming back in with my Galarian Weezing. I'm going to go ahead and just tank whatever they throw here, right? It's pretty worthless against that Marshtomp, so I might as well just stay in, build up, bank the Overheat, and then come in with Lapras. I wanted to bank that Overheat because I'm a Shadow Galarian Weezing, and they're a Shadow Marshtomp, so at the end of the day, that's still going to hit quite hard, even though it is resisted damage. But they actually bring their Marshtomp into my Lapras, telling me they're a little bit core broke here. I mean, not necessarily core broke, because Marshtomp's neutral into Lapras, but I have the shield advantage, so this is great for me. I'm going to go ahead and shield up the first Mud Bomb, land the Sparkling Aria, and eat this next Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb does put me into the yellow. In the back, they're going to have a Mawile, and this game should just about be over. As long as I can make 2 Sparkling Arias, I make the first one right there, and the second one right here. I have the Overheat banked, but they're low enough after the first Sparkling Aria that even Sledge will do it, so I'm just going to come in. Though the Sledge happened to be a CMP, I mean, I didn't really mean to catch this pup, but Pup's super resisted by Galarian Weezing, so it's going to do absolutely nothing. We're going to take them out with the Sludge, and all they have left is a very low health Marshtomp, which we're going to Fairy Wind down. GG's. Well played to my opponent. Let's go. Alright, into the next one. Weezing up against a Cradily lead. Now, I saw a lot of Cradily leads, and I always played them the same, and honestly, it worked out 90% of the time. I'm going to go ahead and just eat. If they want to throw a bad timing, sure. I'll go ahead and just eat, and then I'm going to go for the Overheat. I don't like to bait with Galarian Weezing. Yeah, Sledge is neutral, Overheat is neutral, but, I mean, you see how much that Overheat did? Like, 2 Sledges were not going to KO. I need to land an Overheat at some point, so I go ahead and full send. They no shield, and then I decide to shield this one. I think, generally, I do not shield. This was one of the first ones that I saw. Generally, I do not shield my Dugong because Dugong's really just bait to lure out their best Lapras answer, right? And if they're going to debuff me, well, I don't really want to be down a shield and debuffed. This time I did shield though, and we lure out a Metal Claw Ferrothorn, which is very interesting. And then they throw early here. I know this isn't a Power Whip, and even if it is, I don't really want to shield it. I could just Psywave down with Lapras. It's going to be the Mirror Shot. They do get the attack drop, but that shouldn't matter. This should still KO if they decide to no shield, which they do. And in the back, going to be their own Galarian Weezing. I do have the energy lead here, and even the Sludge is going to do enough that it's easy to Psywave them down. So they're forced to throw up the shield there, and they're forced to throw energy fairly quickly, but they don't. And so I make another Sledge, which is fantastic for me. Absolutely fantastic. We grab the second shield. They can't really Fairy Wind down here. Oh, actually they can. Okay. I was wrong about that, but I have a very bulky Lapras. Like, Lapras's bulk is not a joke. It's actually wild. So I'm going to go ahead and no shield here. If they want to overheat, they can overheat, but I know they're going to want to swap out to clear that debuff. And they actually throw Brutal Swing, making me think they have Sludge, but I got to use the shield at some point. So I'm going to throw it up, and it's actually Brutal Swing Overheat, which is a crazy moveset. How are you not running Sludge? I feel like Sludge is pretty good in this meta, but it doesn't matter. It's a GG's. Well played to my opponent. All right, Klefki lead. Now, Let me talk about the difference between Klefki and Mawile. And I do have a Mawile lead in here as well, so I can talk about it a bit more. Then Klefki's fast move pressure is not that bad. They're running Astonish, right? Non-stab Astonish. It's not that bad. So I think it's good to stay in with your Weezing and go ahead and go for that Overheat. And then you can clean them up with Dugong or Lapras later on. Mawile's a bit different because Shadow Mawile, the the Fire Fangs, kind of just shred through Weezing, and you're not going to have a lot of HP if you stay in to get to that Overheat. What I did in every battle is I stayed in, and I lost to a bunch of, well, I didn't lose a lot of battles. First of all, I believe I found out it was 23-6. One game I played in Ultra League, so it wasn't part of this. 23-6 is what I went with this team, and I think like 3 or 4 of those losses were Mawile leads that I just failed to adapt to. So Mawile leads do swap out into Dugong immediately because Lapras has a decent matchup into it, and if you can have a farm down with Weezing onto something else, then it's a lot better. Anyways, we end up with a Dugong here on our Lapras. This is definitely better for the Lapras than the Dugong, but it's not that bad for the Dugong because I don't have Skull Bash, and from my experience, most people aren't running Skull Bash, though you will see some occasionally. Gonna go ahead and get this next sparkling Aria off before they are at their next Drill Run. It does take out the Dugong, and here comes that Klefki. I go ahead and just go for the catch. Let's see if I got it. I believe I did. It is going to be the foul play right there. Honestly, if I didn't catch there, I was fine because I can use a shield on Galarian Weezing. I have 2 shields still, but since I caught, I decided, let's just go ahead and no shield. I basically had the Sparkling Aria ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and connect with that Overheat. One of those moves was going through, right? So that's GG's. All right, Tentacruel lead. We definitely do want to swap out since they will, again, like the water types, you're going to want to swap out because I don't know if there's any water types that actually take neutral from Sludge in this meta. Not that I can think of. Excuse me. I'm sure they exist, but not that it's common. I'm gonna go ahead and just no shield everything here. They do connect with the Scald, and then they come out with a Among Us. And at this point, I've kind of recognized this team, right? I believe Axon put this team out. I could be wrong. And there should be a Shadow Cacturn in the back. And if there's a Shadow Cacturn in the back, I need some energy on my Lapras to be able to get to the Ice Beam. But at some point, I'm going to also have to be in here with my Weezing. So I go ahead, I get a little bit of an energy lead. I try to catch the Grass Knot, potential Grass Knot onto my Weezing, but it's actually going to be the Sludge Bomb coming through. They come back in with their Tentacruel. I'm going to go ahead and just go for this Sludge, recognizing I can make 2 Sludges, which will do more than 1 Overheat. And here comes the second Sludge. Second Sludge does put them into the red. They already showed Scald, so I'm thinking Acid Spray, Scald, right? Let's go ahead and no shield. And they hit me with the Sludge Wave, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, Cacturn is just going to farm me down. Game's over. GG's. Well played. Good on you for running the right nukes, right? Right? But in the back, they're going to have a Tropius. And now I have all this loaded energy on my Lapras. Ice Beam is double super effective. It does pull a shield here. And now I just have to make sure they don't catch. Tropius has a 3-turn fast move. So it's pretty easy to throw at the middle of a 3-turn fast move. Going to connect with that Ice Beam and farm down the Among Us. And that's a GG's. Into the next one, up against the Golisopod lead. And this is a lead that I love. I love to see with Shadow Weezing. It's not amazing for the regular Weezing, but for Shadow, you outpace because of the first Sludge you get to in 5, the second one you get to in 4. My opponent, very talented battler, does swap out into a Mantine, which is, I don't get it. I'm going to be honest, I don't get it. I've seen some Mantines throughout this cup. I know there's grass types out there, but I don't get it. I really don't. It's fine. The counts to Aerial Ace should be 6, 6, 5. 6 winged attacks for the first 2 and then 5 for the third. So I'm going to throw a bad timing there just to get that Icy Wind off just before that next Aerial Ace. Golisopod comes back out. I'm going to go ahead and debuff that Golisopod, and then I'm going to come in with my Lapras. If Dugong has some play, well, we still have a good amount of health remaining on it, and this is just debuffed X-Scissors coming into my Lapras. We can easily tank 2 of them and keep farming up energy. trying to get this Golisopod into Sparkling Aria range. Going to be firing off the Sparkling Aria at this point. It does get shielded actually, so I have another one ready to go. Let's just go ahead and fire it off, see if we grab both shields here, and we do. At this point I have a 2-shield Galarian Weezing, which isn't stopped by much. It's going to be a Tentacruel in the back, and I mean, we've talked about it, all of our moves are resisted, but I'm Shadow, they're Shadow. I go ahead and go for this next Sludge. Overheat probably would have nearly KO'd, maybe, I think it actually would have KO'd, but we get the CMP tie this way, which is just a fantastic situation for me. I recognize that really the only way I lose this at this point is if I somehow go shields down and this Golisopod's able to take me out with X Scissors. So I'm going to go ahead and just no shield that Acid Spray there, farm down, and leave with the Sparkling Aria, and that's GG's. Well played. Let's go. Alright. Empoleon lead, right? Can't get much worse than that. It's one of the few save swaps, or one of the few leads that I will save swap my Lapras instead of my Dugong, because, well, I need Dugong to be able to connect with the Drill Run later on in the game, right? I continue to farm up, hoping that when they swap out, my energy will be useful, but they come in with the Golisopod, and so this energy is not any better since I don't have Skull Bash. I hoped that they would shield the first one, expecting Skull Bash, no such luck. They do let the second Sparkling Aria come through, which means I could double shield, but honestly, Dugong down 2 shields is not that good into the Impoleon. So instead, I'm going to keep my shields, eat this Aqua Jet, and get any aggressive farm down, or at least an energy lead with my Dugong. In the back, they're going to have a Tropius, which is fantastic. Again, here's where Dugong really shines. It's a good core breaker for a lot of teams, doing double super effective damage into this Tropius. And of course, we have the Drill Run to hit the Impoleon for super effective as well. Now, Dugong does win that CMP, but I recognize that my Dugong leaving this matchup with energy is the best situation for me. I know they have a catch available here. And I actually tried to be more cautious of it, but I still throw. It's one of my weaknesses. Like, I'll be honest, I do this so often. I lose so many games because of it. I'm impatient. I'm impatient, and it's something that I'm working on improving in my gameplay. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter here, though. They don't have the back-to-back Drill Pecks, and that's what they would need. I'm just going to go ahead and undertap this Drill Run. If it doesn't KO, I mean, they still have to throw another Drill Peck into my Dugong, and I have my Weezing alive. The game's over, so GG's. It actually does KO anyways, so GG's will play to my opponent. Alright, here it is, the Mawile lead. You can see how to play it incorrectly, because I never learned from my mistakes. I mean, you could bait, you could stay in and bait, and I think you win the ones if you do that, but then they're just going to 2-shield and not take any damage anyways. So I don't really see the benefit in that. And I did have one Mawile, just one, that actually ate the Overheat. So like 1 out of 5, right? I think it's better just to swap out. Here they end up catching my Drill Run on Jellicent, which is not great because, well, they don't do a lot. But at the same time, Jellicent's a bit of a team effort. So I'm okay with it. We're gonna go ahead and just eat this. It should just be a, oh, they actually Shadow Ball. Okay, I think Surf would have KO'd from there. I don't think it changes how many moves they get to against my Lapras. Maybe it does. We're gonna be looking for the Side Wave down, but they're going to actually come in with their own Lapras, and now I'm just in a really tough position because I need my Lapras to have health on it to take out their Mawile, and I can't really bring in Weezing. We'd be taking super effective from these Side Waves. I'm already at half HP on my Weezing. Like, if I wasn't at half HP, then maybe I could get this Lapras to half and then start spamming out the Sludges. But, well, I stayed in against the Mawile. So, is what it is. There's really no recovering from this game. By the way, I thought I had more Jellicents. I remember now, it's because I wanted to focus on the negative leads. I ended up taking out some of the Jellicent save swaps. So, I'm just going to talk about it here. Jellicent save swap. Right, that means you've won the lead, they come in with Jellicent. Stay in with Weezing, immediately throw that Overheat, and then just come in with Lapras, and you should be able to farm down, or, you know, if you need to throw a Sparkling Aria, that's perfectly fine. But you'll be able to maintain the lead if you just throw that Overheat, even though it's a resisted move. It it hits Jellicent pretty hard. I mean, it hits everything very hard, right? And that's one of the advantages of having the Shadow Weezing. I don't think you need Brutal Swing. You can see that battle did actually cost me the 5-0 there, so that's unfortunate. Here's a great lead, Tropius, and then they safe swap into Impoleon. It took me a minute because I had not seen an Impoleon safe swap, but our best answer is Dugong, and I'm very happy that I saw it on the safe swap and not as the closer. I can go ahead and throw the Drill in here, and here's what's important. It was a Tropius lead. We have 3 Tropius answers, right? Lapras is spammy enough that it makes it to those Ice Beams that basically one-shot Tropius. Weezing resist Leaf Blade, and if you resist Leaf Blade, you're already in a good spot, but we have Sludge and Overheat just to add to that. And then we can do double super effective with all the ice moves from Dugong. So I'm not worried about fighting for switch here. I'm going to go ahead and just let my Dugong go and come in with Lapras. That way I have the energy lead if I need to throw the Ice Beam into that Tropius. Instead, they're going to come in with their own Lapras, and they didn't even build up to the Skull Bash. So I can go ahead and just tank this Sparkling Aria. I guess their win con really at this point is catching a Sparkling Aria. And then Lapras, their Lapras basically would need to sweep. I'm just going to fire these off pretty much immediately. I figure they're going to expect me to overfarm quite a bit. I'm not going to do that. I can shield this one. I just need to pull their last shield. Yeah, that's what it was. I just need to pull their last shield. I do fire this one off immediately. It probably would have been a pretty easy time for them to catch, but they don't. And so now I can just come in with my Weezing, throw up the shield here on the Sparkling Aria. Watch for the catch. They go a little bit early. And now I can overfarm. Just farm up to 100, right? We have Overheat. We have Sludge. Lapras is very low. Overheat takes out the Tropius, and Sludge coming through to take out the rest of this Lapras. And that's going to be a GG's. Well played to my opponent. Oh, well, I guess we got to do one more Fairy Wind. Taking out the Impoleon with a debuffed Fairy Wind. I mean, it felt good, right? It felt good. So last set was just a 3-2, but it did help me get up to that 28-36 mark, which was my season high. And then I played one set of Ultra League and I went 3-2 and I got up to 28-42. So, which that's with my Ultra League team, which I guess I should tag here or one of these squares somewhere. I don't know. It'll be somewhere. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you to my channel members for your support. Until next time, this is ChillisFM reminding you to always keep pushing forward.